Now let's see how to perform a recalibration of a MooLogger. First, I'm not going to use the router for the connection, but I'm going to show you how to locally connect your computer to the MooLogger. To do that, I'm going to use a network cable, which I'm going to connect to the network inlet. The other side will be connected to my laptop. While the laptop is turning on, let's connect the gas cylinders. To do that, we are going to need a gas cylinder. We recommend this small type of bottles because are easier to manage and to use. We need nitrogen for the zero recalibration, meaning when there is no gas. And we need a cylinder containing methane, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen for the SpA recalibration. So a certain concentration that we know. First, we need to do zero recalibration, then we can do the SpA recalibration. To the gas cylinder, we need to connect a pressure regulator that is used to adapt the pressure of the bottle to the pressure supported by the MooLogger. We recommend fixed pressure regulator so that you can open that and you will get out only 1 liter per minute as required by MooLogger specification. To connect the pressure regulator to the MooLogger, we're gonna use this tube. So one side is connected to the pressure regulator of the gas cylinder, and the other side will be connected to MooLogger input. I'm gonna use the input number 1 for nitrogen and input number 2 later for the SpA recalibration. So the setup is now ready. Let's go and see the web page. Here is my laptop connected to the MooLogger, who has a static IP on the network interface. Now I access the MooLogger default web page and I log in with my own user. For this purpose, I'm going to use Tecnosens user. Let me switch to English language and move to calibration setting page. Here I'm going to confirm that I'm going to use cylinder number 1 for the zero recalibration, and I'm going to use 1 cylinder for the SpA recalibration connected to the input number 1. And the concentration printed on the cylinder is 40,000 ppm for CO2 and 4,000 ppm for CH4. Let's go to the manual section of the recalibration. Here I'm going to confirm that I correctly connected the system to the gas cylinder and I'm using the right one. Then I decide to do zero recalibration to all channels. I could choose to do it only to one of the channels if I need to. Here I confirm that I can damage the system if I do a wrong recalibration. What I'm gonna check right now is that the flow is zero because the pump of the MooLogger has been powered off and my gas cylinder is closed. What I'm gonna do now is open the gas cylinder from the bottom side here. As this is a fixed pressure regulator, it will only output 1 liter per minute, so I can open all of it. And from the MooLogger web page, I'm gonna see it's almost 1 liter per minute. This one is almost an empty bottle, so that's why it should be a little bit lower. Here I can see the sensor temperature, the flow humidity of the gas. If I'm using correctly the gas cylinder, this value will go lower than 5%. And here I can see CH4 and CO2 measures. As you can see from here, this MooLogger needed a recalibration because we have almost minus 200 ppm of methane, almost 200 ppm positive of CO2. Once the reading is stable and the humidity is almost below 5%, I can perform a recalibration. The user, like admin or others, will be authorized to press on calibrate button only if all the parameters are inside the threshold. As a Tecnosens user, I can force the procedure. So I'm gonna do that now. During this period, the MooLogger is checking the readings inside after and previous to the recalibration. What I can see from the history page is that user Tecnosens has performed a recalibration, and the value before was -200 and +200, and after my calibration went to -3 and 0, meaning I performed that correctly. Now let's do the span recalibration. I'm gonna use the span cylinder. So what I'm gonna do right now is close the pressure regulator and unplug MooLogger input. Then I remove the pressure regulator from the 0 cylinder and I connect it to the span one. I connect the other side to MooLogger recalibration input number 1. Don't forget to close the input you are not using to avoid dust getting inside the MooLogger. As we said earlier, I'm gonna use a cylinder containing both CH4 and CO2, so I'm gonna use only one input. Here I confirm again I'm doing the things correctly, and I select span calibration to all channels because I'm going to perform recalibration on both channels at the same time. After confirming I know I can damage the system if I do a wrong recalibration, I can confirm the real concentration of gas inside my cylinder. And as before, MooLogger will stop its own pump and switch to recalibration. I see the flow is 0, so I can now open the gas cylinder. Again, I can open all of it and I will see the flow rising up. Now, concentration will reach almost the span values. Again, MooLogger will keep recording what we are doing and checking that we are doing things correctly. Only in that case, it will authorize me to do a recalibration. As I'm a Tecnosens user, I can always force this procedure. And now that I can see stable values and you can see the very quick response time of MooLogger, I can click on Calibrate button. Again, MooLogger will take a little bit for completing the procedure, as it will monitor the readings before and after my recalibration, just to say if I've done it correctly. I can see the values previously to my recalibration and the one after I did that, and we can see the calibration was performed correctly. Before leaving the farm, I'm gonna close the gas cylinder, remove the tube from the MooLogger input and close it. The recalibration procedure has been performed correctly, and we can now move to another MooLogger or to another location. Thanking George Uberti from La Colombare and Alpazzo for letting us use his own farm for the test of MooLogger. We also thank you all for following this technical webinar on MooLogger usage. See you in the next video.